In pro assessments, given a tipping point has occurred, three scenarios or narratives are detailed that ultimately determine the 10th, 50th, and 90th percentiles of impact to the value of the enterprise as measured in the net present value of free cash flow, arguably one of the best measures of enterprise value. Narrative-based analytics represents one of the innovations of pro-enterprise management. With the three narratives or scenarios defined to inform the numerical assessments, the lost sales impact is assessed as a percentage of total sales for three time frames: the initial year of lost sales, the second year of lost sales, and lost sales in each year beyond the second year of lost sales, that is the third year, fourth year, etc., out to the final year of the time horizon. This method of considering impact over time is illustrative of just one of many methods that can be used to assess lost sales impact over time. Consider the surprisingly bad 90th percentile narrative. This narrative implies that if a warning letter was received in the year 2020 that leads to reputational damage resulting in lost sales, then 4% of the year 2020 total sales will be lost, 5% of the year 2021 total sales would be lost, and 5% of annual total sales in the years 2023 through 2028, the last year of a 10-year time horizon, would be lost. This assessment is repeated for the surprisingly good 10th percentile narrative and the median 50th percentile narrative. If the system is modernized, there will be a reduction in the annual probability of receiving a warning letter from 5% to about 2%. This means the annual tipping point probability of the first tipping point will be reduced to 2%, and the annual tipping point probability of the second tipping point will be reduced to 1.6%. However, in both cases, the financial impacts or consequences given the tipping points occur remain unchanged. That is, the modernization of the regulatory information system only reduces the probability of risk occurrence, but not the consequences of these two risks should either occur. The three 10-50-90 narratives were created to span the financial impacts given the risks occur. Here is the summary of the numerical components of the financial impacts by scenario. Each of the values uses millions of dollars as the unit of measure. The impacts are in either lost sales or expense. The surprisingly bad or 90th percentile scenario represents a financial impact scenario where there is only a 10% chance the actual scenario would be worse as measured in net present value. If there is any correlation among any of the parameters, then that should be reflected in the numerical values so that the comprehensive scenario is both coherent and consistent. The same must be true for the surprisingly good 10th percentile scenario, as well as the median 50th percentile scenario. The 10th percentile scenario represents a financial impact scenario where there is only a 10% chance that the actual scenario would be better as measured in net present value. Beyond the reduction in the probability of the two risks occurring attributed to modernizing the regulatory information system, there is an opportunity or upside that the system creates: an increase in billable time to staff who have a reduced workload resulting from the streamlined work processes. A projection of time savings per year was assessed. A 10-50-90 narrative-based assessment was performed with two key parameters being the percentage of time savings that could be converted to billable hours and the average hourly billable rate associated with the additional billable time. Once again, if any correlation or dependence between these two parameters exists, then this must be considered when assessing their joint impact to their contribution to enterprise revenue. Without the regulatory information system modernized and accounting for the tipping point probabilities and the 10-50-90 narrative-based assessments, the risk of a warning letter leading to reputational damage resulting in lost sales has an expected risk liability of about $22 million as measured in today's dollars. There is only a 10% chance the warning letter leading to reputational damage risk will have an enterprise value loss impact worse or greater than $88 million. The risk of a warning letter leading to fines and additional audits and inspections has an expected risk liability of about $3 million as measured in today's dollars. The expected risk liability of the portfolio of two risks is about $25 million. Investment productivity is the primary return on investment measure used in pro-enterprise management. Investment productivity is defined as the expected net present value of the risk liability after investment in action minus the expected net present value of the risk liability before investment in action divided by the present value of the investment. We've already calculated the expected NPV before investment in action, and that is minus $25.09 million. The expected NPV after investment in action is minus $15.58 million, which includes the benefits of the increased billable time, and, as with all ROI measures, this also includes the cost of the investment. The present value of the investment is $4.64 million, yielding an investment productivity of 2.05. In simple terms, this implies that for every dollar of modernization investment, the enterprise creates or protects $2.05 of enterprise value as measured in today's dollars. As a percentage, this represents a 205% ROI. Short of this type of analysis, management would be unaware of the magnitude of the financial return for modernizing the regulatory information system. Investment productivity for investing in risk mitigation can vary from negative values, as in not worth the investment, to well over 100. As in all decision analysis methods, some sensitivity analysis should be performed to determine the robustness of the investment recommendation. In this analysis, the annual probability of receiving a warning letter is a critical component in the analysis. The first question that comes to mind is, what if the annual probability of receiving a warning letter is much lower or higher than the assessed 5% chance? Does the investment remain productive, and to what degree? The current analysis, where the annual probability of receiving a warning letter without modernizing the regulatory information system is 5%, yields an investment productivity of 2.05. As long as the annual probability of a warning letter is above about 2.7% chance, the investment productivity score is positive, implying it is a value-creating and/or protecting investment. If the annual probability of a warning letter approaches 6%, the investment productivity increases to nearly 3.0. This is additional validation that modernizing the regulatory information system is a good investment for the enterprise. But how can we truly defend that position if we don't compare the investment to other potential IT investments, or for that matter, other enterprise investments? Watch part 3 of this video series to understand how to compare and prioritize discretionary IT investments in support of creating an IT budget. Contact us and apply pro-enterprise management analytics to determine your best value IT modernization plan. For more information, check out our website and pick up a copy of my latest book, Problem, Risk, and Opportunity: Enterprise Management.